3D printed objects. I like to put electronics then into the 3D printed objects. I know Dave actually from a really weird connection through my husband. It was really kind of funny because him and my husband went hiking for, I don't know, 3 years or something, and then one year, I think in 2014, my husband like finally mentioned to him that I do this kind of stuff, and Dave's like, she'd be really great to like maybe go to blue stamp, and I'm like, yeah, actually I would. So I taught in New York in 2014, and it was a lot of fun, and it was really great seeing all of your projects too. So I teach right now at the University of Denver in the Emergent Digital Practices program, which is a combination of art and emergent digital practices, which means like basically whatever new stuff's coming around, we're ready for it. And we're experimenting with it and playing with it. So I teach coding, wearables, web design development, electronics. I'm not an engineer. However, I think in another life I would have been an engineer. So I like playing with stuff, and I like to see like kind of where it takes me, and I like to make funny, quirky projects. I want to show you a little bit of some of my student work actually. This is from my coding class with processing. So have any of you had any experience with processing? And so I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. What's the difference between Arduino and processing?
Not that much. Processing, you can pull up a straight, you can display things to a window rather than just printing.
Yes,
Also,
and
Is Arduino based on Java or just C++?
Arduino is C++, and that's actually what I was looking for.
Processing is on Java.
Yes, perfect. So, but they use like the same kind of interface for development, right?
They're both pretty easy.
Yeah, exactly. So processing is a great way to kind of get your fingers more into coding and stuff, especially if you don't want to maybe port it into electronics. You can still do that, and in the coding class at the end, we'll often hook up an Arduino and tell the Arduino things or vice versa. So this is a really great processing piece. And then this was another student's work, and he used OpenGL library, which was pretty much the 3D graphics library for processing. This student used waveforms and audio based off of where you were on the window. And then this is Justine's, and she made this little game in processing where the Illuminati is trying to catch you. So we like to make a lot of little fun, quirky games, and we are a bunch of artists, but at the same time, we come up with some fun stuff. So we also have some engineers that like to come over and get creative, so that's always fun too. But this is like a light up wig, and this is from my wearables class, and this is actually Justine's also. And it was supposed to be like for cancer patients, who are going through treatment and maybe were losing their hair, and to really make their hair like a statement piece about them and make them feel better. And it reacted to light, so that was fun. And then there's always a glove with a lot of wires coming out of it, which is cool. And this is the glove of sunshine and friendship. I love this guy. He had never sewn before in his life. He was just so proud of himself when he learned out how to sew on a button and stuff. And he was just trying his best. And you know what? It was awesome. Because at the end, he basically came up with a hand signal gesture glove that you could have two people wearing the glove, and then it could tell if the handshake was correct or not. So he was in a frat. That explains a lot of it, I think. But it was fun, and then he had the lights tell you if it was correct or not. And then this was one of the grad students, and she made this circuit that you could actually like move the circuit to hook up different components and different sensors and create different effects with it. So now I will show you some of my work. If my computer cooperates. That's another problem I run into is I have everything running all the time and I never restart it, and then this happens. So, and it's like somebody's calling somebody on the Bluetooth. Yeah. So this is a little bit older, but I made an emoticon jacket. And so the idea was that you have these buttons and pressure sensors in your sleeve, and like the more nervous you are, right, the harder you would press. And so one sleeve was positive emotions and one was negative emotions. And then you could tell someone how you were feeling without actually maybe verbally communicating it or using body language. So this one actually did really well. It got picked up by like PC World and a bunch, you know how they are, they're probably looking for anything. But it was fun, and actually some freshman engineering colleges in their freshman engineering classes use this as one of their beginning projects. So what you guys are doing is actually very similar to what you would be doing in a college engineering environment, from what I understand. This is a statement necklace, and it's 3D printed, and I basically have electronics in here, and as you touch it, it's reads statements that are kind of ambiguous about fashion, and so like it must be straight, and they get more intense the more you push it. So it's the statement necklace that's telling you what's wrong with you, basically. This is my commenter bot, and this is just kind of a fun little exercise of something I made in grad school, because you know, stuff's rough in grad school. And basically it responds to light and dark, and it just goes, and then when it hits something or someone, it's assuming it's a someone, if it's light, it will give a good comment, and if it is dark, it will give a bad comment in a robot sing-song voice. So it's very fun, and it kind of, you know, how light might affect your emotional state, or not. But and then this was Steam Cycle, and this was for that DIA art bike project that they have every year. We had Steamboat Springs, me and my collaborator, and she had access to some professional, like the large-scale $500,000 3D printing machines. And so these were all printed through her, and then she helped me with some of this modeling. But it's kind of an interaction between man and machine and nature. So 3D printing is fun.
You guys have,
Wait, so did
Yeah, we
these
did one.
these things turn on at the bottom?
Yeah, there's lights that just kind of cycle through to like kind of create movement.
That's
So, this is all photogrammetry. I don't know if you guys are familiar with 123D Catch, but it's this really great little app that you can download on your phone, and it's from Autodesk. And you go around an object and take pictures at various angles, and you can basically 3D scan these objects just with your phone. And so I did that with a bunch of different objects, and these are all like slang terms for body parts. And then it's like an art historical play on this particular painting, which was very offensive actually. So, but it's very famous and in like every art history book. So, this is You Didn't Mean What You Say, And this is basically a Twitter box, and it scrapes Twitter for keywords. And so if you press the dog button, and it's the last button that was pressed, because I kind of have it a little bit randomized, it will read a dog tweet. Now, whether dog is used in like the traditional context, or it's used in a unflattering context or random context, I don't know. Just scraping Twitter. So I have no idea what's going to come out of it, and it's really kind of fun because it's kind of assigning blame for those random horrible tweets that we put out there to whoever pressed the button last. And yeah, it's pretty fun. It's got like a LCD screen that also kind of creates like an arcade environment. And so it's a little bit of a game, and then it like is assigning blame if you win. I'm very much into games that have like no real purpose. And this is my show Common Myth. This was a couple years ago. But this was based off of if all of these random digital things that we put out there were to become conscious, how would it try to understand us and itself through this kind of debris? And so part of it was looking at the physical body, and part of it was looking at emotional content and how we try to understand how we are thinking and feeling and collecting that data. So these are all, this is the physical part, and this is like trying to understand our bodies through movement, and so it's kind of a weird random thing. And this is a MODA scan, and this is a headpiece that you wear, and then it's supposed to be like a emotion thought collector. It uses your skin to trigger it, and so it creates a generative audio experience for you based off of MRI brain scans. And it's really fun because a lot of people are like, are you actually collecting my emotions? And it's like, well, no, not really. I can't really afford that technology. Plus, I don't think it really exists. So it kind of exists, right? Like you could put electrodes all over and you could see what's lighting up in your brain, but yeah. So she was really jamming out to it. Some people really hate it, other people really love it. You just never know. It's been really fun though, because this is one of the first wearables that, like, I don't know, hundreds of people have used it, and it's actually held up. It's really hard to make wearables that hold up, because people are kind of, I think, expecting more of like a children's museum kind of construction, right, where everything is like absolutely indestructible, and it's like, well, no, it's art. 3D printed. I want you to touch it, but like gently. So it's always kind of fun to try to convey that to people. But this is Senti hubs, and this is nylon and ABS that was 3D printed, and people can add links wherever they feel is the happiest. So this is like the data plotting of the digital consciousness that I'm imagining. And then here's Imaging Profiler again. As you get closer to these, the 2D planes open up larger, and so through that movement I was trying to like reconstruct this three-dimensionality of our bodies.
Of what exactly?
What?
You said of our
Of our bodies.
Oh.
Yeah. These are like gender-neutral body parts. I'm not going to show you guys that. And then these are MRI scans I found on the internet, and it's really interesting because a radiologist came in and he's like, I know exactly what's wrong with all these people. So, I mean, just the fact that I could like find MRI scans of lots of people on the internet, no problem. I don't know, there's a lot of data out there. And then I made some jewelry out of the 3D printed nylon pieces, and I recently made a dress, so it was very fun. This is drip structure, and I was very interested in kind of this positive, negative space and the form and shape of water. And so this is actually the negative space around like a water splat, and then it's like reconstructed into this weird spine. And this is build failure, and this is another one of my physical games where you are invited to come up and use the blocks to build, and it's about kind of this, once again, the form of water where you have this building up and it will inevitably fail. It's just a question of when and how you decide to build with these blocks. So it's very fun to see when it crashes, people start freaking out a little bit, like, did I just break it? And it's like, well, you probably did break it. This guy obviously did, because he didn't, you know. But it's like built to fail, right? All these pieces are modular. They all link together. They can be fixed and put back together. But it's just of this building up and this failing. Kind of the positive and negative aspects of failure, right? Because we always think of it as a negative thing, but really it's essential to this learning process and to, you know, moving ourselves forward, right? And so kids really enjoy it. And this was at a show I had a while back. So this is my 3D printed dress that I just made. It's just really fun.
So cool.
And she actually wore it like all night, and it didn't really, it held up really well. I was really surprised because I'm like, she's gonna break this. Because she likes to dance, she's gonna break it. But she didn't, so it was pretty great. There's like 6 pounds of nylon that have been 3D printed on there. It took a while, but it was really fun and everyone enjoyed it, so that was good. Sorry, my computer is just like freaking out. You can let the daisy a little longer. So cool. And then you can see, this was actually Gypsy Ames in the back. She makes these really great like costumes, like where, and then she did like some wearable performances at this thing. So it's just nuts. I mean, like, I want this. I don't know what this is even, if it's like plastic or glass or what, but it's just, they're really breathtaking.
Are those orange wings part of the blue dress?
No.
Okay.
But the
was thinking
photographer.
the same
It looks
thing,
like-
Time with it.
Like, I didn't think so, because I look like I can see some, like, sort of wire holding
Yeah,
it
it
up
looks like
on
they're
the
on a
right
show.
side, but
Yeah.
they're just, it's perfectly placed that it looks like
It
they're,
really, even the angle, right?
I know.
Yeah. Sorry,
They're
guys.
behind
yeah.
We're just getting to the good part. I swear. Anyway, let me show you, so one of the wearables I just made. And I was just charging it. Well, and hopefully this will advance at some point.
Whoa.
And so this is 3D printed, and I made 3 of these, and they were performed at this event. So this was Brilliant down in Colorado Springs, and it's the University of Colorado Springs, their downtown contemporary art gallery. They have a fundraiser every year. And Daisy here in the middle is the director, and so I was one of the featured artists, as obviously Gypsy was in the back. But it's a very fun night, but there's a lot of really great art and stuff, and they had like a kind of runway wearable show. And so this is called Notion Motion, and it's actually really simple. It's got a gesture sensor, and then it's hooked up to some Adafruit NeoPixels, and of course I forgot to turn it on right before I put it on. Actually, would you mind? There's a little on-off switch.
Sure, let's see. Is it on this little?
Yeah, and it's like a blue.
Come on, Brandon.
Oh, no, not on there.
Oh,
Okay, sorry. So, down there. Little switch. It looks like it should be there now. Did you get it?
On the big one. It's not the big one.
No. There, I got it. That's what I did. Thank you.
Whoa.
So it just reacts to your gestures. So
Whoa.
yeah, there's this like I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Robert Palmer song, Addicted to Love, but it's really fun. That's what they performed it to. So like the lights go on, and I'm like, I didn't even know that was a lyric. But anyway, so add a fruit neopixels. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah. If anybody you guys want to wear it and play with it, go for it. But it's got a charging circuit in the back. If you want to look at that, I don't know if you care about that or not. And an on-off switch and like, you know, stupid stuff like that that you don't always think to put in until afterwards, and you're like, why didn't I put an on-off switch in there? So yeah, it's pretty fun. So, but this was about how we like talk. I talk with my hands. I am a second generation, and I come from a fiery line of people, and I talk to with my hands a lot, and I'm, you know, trying to transfer emotion through this hand gesture system, you know, to add some bling to your hand motion, right? Wow, my computer's really freaking out. So anyway, I also made a table. I'll show you guys later. But if you guys want to come up and play with this, and while some of you guys can put your stuff away. But yeah, thank you for having me. I'm sorry my computer.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
How much does it cost to make that?
So it doesn't cost all that much actually. I mean, these are all 3D printed. It took me a while, you know, to like come up with it, right? And to like get everything to work together. That's usually what most of my time and effort and money goes into, is just trying to get it to work correctly. And then I, you know, can make two more very easily. But I mean, so each of these, of course, these were kind of beat up that night, but each of these lights, I want to say cost like $6. The gesture sensor is like 15. I have a teensy on here. Teensies are great. Love teensies. They're like, have 30 pins of awesomeness. And they can even do like some capacitive touch sensing and stuff like that very easily. And it just works with the Arduino environment. So, and it's a very small form factor. Those are 20. Then the charging cables and all that, probably like, I don't know, another like 10, 15 bucks. And then the battery is probably about 10. So yeah, it adds up. Probably a couple $100.
Where did you get like the 3D printer to print that with?
I have a couple. So when I was in grad school, I got a grant, and I actually was able to purchase a FDM printer, which is this plastic, like the desktop printers that we all know and love. And then I recently purchased another one, and then I have one that I can take along with me for Art Student League classes and stuff like that. I actually teach at Art Student League. I teach a wearables workshop and a 3D printing workshop. So if you guys ever want like a little crash course in either of those things, yeah, I think I'm going to be doing like summer camp stuff next year too. So are you guys all juniors or seniors or?
We're mostly juniors and sophomores.
Sophomore, junior, perfect. Yeah, come over to Art Student League. Just for, you know, I'll probably do like a 2 or 3 day workshop. That's what I've been doing. So yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it probably ends up being like 150 bucks. We'll just call it 150 bucks for one of these. That's to make it though, right? Because that's not even including like my time and energy and whatever else. So.
It's cool, but that's fun. That's okay.
What?
That's like fun. That's not.
Not all the time.
If only you get paid for having fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I don't make any money, right? I
Yeah.
think that's pretty obvious, but that's why I teach. And so it's it's fun in a way, but it's also very stressful. A lot of people expect you to like give this to them for free, you know, and it's like, well, but I've got a lot of electronics in here. There was like electricity and time and effort and 3D printer wear and tear, right, stuff like that, and like to pay for the machines. So yeah, it kind of adds up in a real way, but yes, it is a little bit of fun, but it's still work. So, you guys can,
What kind of 3D printers do you? What kind of 3D?
that's why I bring it. So yeah, go have fun with it.
What kind of 3D printers do you use?
I have 2 Maker Gear M2s, not MakerBot.
Okay.
And then I also have, my little one that I travel with is, it's an up, so it's like $400 for them. But
Okay.
So